It's often said that poets are a melancholy bunch, and as I search through tomes and tomes of poems trying to find something nice and jolly to read out to you, I'm getting more and more inclined to agree. Anyway, during my searches I came across a collection of Lewis Carroll's works. So I thought actually for something different I would read you The Hunting of the Snark. It's a very, very long poem, split into 8 sections, the last 2 being quite short. So what I thought I would do, rather than bore you all in one complete go, is I would read it over a series of days. So I'll read you the first part today, and tune in tomorrow for the second if you wish. The Hunting of the Snark, the landing. Just the place for a snark, the bellman cried, as he landed his crew with care, supporting each man on the top of the tide by a finger entwined in his hair. Just the place for a snark, I've said it twice, that alone should encourage the crew. Just the place for a snark, I've said it thrice, what I tell you 3 times is true. The crew was complete. It included a boots, a maker of bonnets and hoods, a barrister brought in to arrange their disputes, and a broker to value their goods. A billiard marker whose skill was immense might perhaps have won more than his share, but a banker engaged at enormous expense had the whole of the cash in his care. There was also a beaver that paced on the deck, or would sit and make lace in the bow, and had often, the bellman said, saved them from wreck, though none of the sailors knew how. There was one who was famed for a number of things he forgot when he entered the ship: his umbrella, his watch, all the jewels and rings, and the clothes he had brought for the trip. He had 42 boxes, all carefully packed, with his name printed clearly on each, but since he omitted to mention the fact, they were all left behind on the beach. The loss of his clothes hardly mattered, because he had 7 coats on when he came, with 3 pairs of boots, but the worst of it was he had wholly forgotten his name. He would answer to "Hi," or to any loud cry, such as "Fry me," or "Fritter my wig," to "What you may call 'em," or "What was his name," but especially "Thingamajig." While for those who preferred a more forcible word, he had different names from these. His intimate friends called him Candle Ends, and his enemies Toasted Cheese. His form is ungainly, his intellect small, so the bellman would often remark, but his courage is perfect, and that, after all, is the thing one needs with a snark. He would joke with hyenas, returning their stare with an impudent wag of his head, and he once went to walk paw in paw with a bear, just to keep up its spirits, he said. He came as a baker, but owned when too late that it drove the poor bellman half mad. He could only bake bride cake, for which, I might state, no materials were to be had. The last of the crew needs a special remark, though he looked an incredible dunce. He had just one idea, that one being Snark. The good bellman engaged him at once. He came as a butcher, but gravely declared, when the ship had been sailing a week, he could only kill beavers. The bellman looked scared, and was almost too frightened to speak. But at length he explained in a tremulous tone, there was only one beaver on board, and that was a tame one he had of his own, whose death would be deeply deplored. The beaver, who happened to hear the remark, protested with tears in his eyes that not even the rapture of hunting the snark could atone for that dismal surprise. It strongly advised that the butcher should be conveyed on a separate ship, but the bellman declared that would never agree with the plans he had made for the trip. Navigation was always a difficult art, though with only one ship and one bell, and he feared he must really decline for his part, undertaking another as well. The beaver's best course was, no doubt, to procure a second-hand dagger-proof coat, so the baker advised it, and next to insure its life in some office of note. This the baker suggested and offered for hire on moderate terms, or for sale. 2 excellent policies, one against fire and one against damage from hail. Yet still, ever after that sorrowful day, when the butcher was by, the beaver kept looking the opposite way and appeared unaccountably shy. That's it for part 1. For part 2, tune in tomorrow. Goodbye.